Welcome to episode 66, Fix That Broken Mindset. I'm your host, Sean Patrick Maloney. Today I'm going to talk to you about mindset. I'm going to tell you how you can fix that broken mindset you have and you can excel at anything you want in life just by making some simple steps. Let's break it down here in this podcast. Let's make it available so everybody can fix what's going on in their mind today and get out there and do better as things break through with COVID-19. First off, let's start it off by talking about what is a mind versus what is a brain. Unfortunately, over time, we've kind of lost touch with this. Everybody believes that a brain is a mind and a mind is a brain. I'm here to tell you that that's completely wrong. You have two different things. Your brain is this piece of material up in your head that tells you what they think it's right. It tells you what you've taught it and educated it to believe. It's something that really is just a regurgitator of information that we've put in. It's not really that powerful. It's not that thoughtful. It's just something that is very interesting, almost like memory on a computer, where what you put in, you get out. Hardly ever do you get anything original out. What do I mean by this? Where does original come from? Well, that's the other thing. We have this center core on us. It's called our mind. It's not our heart. It's not in our heart space. It's not in our chest. It's in our entire being. It's in who we are, where we were born, why we're here in this universe, and it's the most confusing thing to most people. It's why animals do what they do. It's instinct. It's all these different terms that we've called it, but what it truly is, it's us. There is an us in everybody, there's a you inside of you, and there's everybody inside each other. I know that might sound weird, but if you break it down, think about it slowly, each and every one of those statements is true, and we all are part of one giant universe. What I want you to start thinking about differently now is I want you to start telling your brain sometimes no and start listening to your mind. Let's talk about how to do it, why to do it, where to do it, when to do it, and how come people got so confused. Back in the day, people used to live off the land. We used to just hunt, fish, gather, move around, and we didn't really understand too much. We would survive as human beings, but we also did not have complex lives. Over time, we slowly but surely educated ourselves. The more educated we became, the more detached from the universe and the more detached from the planet we became. The more dependent on each other we became, and that's why we're here today, just like we are in COVID, where we're all unsure what to do and we're looking for somebody smarter, more educated than us, to make a decision that we already know we need to make. Whether it be to go to work, not to go to work hard, not work hard, sit on the couch, all these different things that we're relying on other people to make the decision for, we know best within ourselves. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about brain. Brain is something, again, it's educated by what we know. When somebody says the color red, you don't know a red you don't know. You might think of a red apple, I might think of a red fire truck. The reds that we've introduced ourselves to in life are reds that are within our brain. All these different options make you understand why we can't understand each other. And one thing that I've always loved is people think that they can talk about history because they compare it to what they know now. One thing about information that's really interesting in all intelligence is it's a collection of material that you know. So if you've never been introduced an idea, then it doesn't exist. Such as just like COVID-19. We never thought about how to deal with it because it never existed before today. Now that we're educated on it, we all know we have to cover our face with masks, we have to wear gloves, we have to wash more often. We have to do all these things because we've been educated to do so. But yet, we haven't been educated to do so in the fact that nobody actually knows that that's true. We're just going on what they say is true. We're going on what someone more intelligent than us again tells us, which means we're again just allowing our brain to run it. But what I want you to do is start slowing down and start thinking, during this time of crisis, should I allow myself to become a little more natural and allow what needs to happen to happen? And when you do, you're going to find that your mind is a lot smarter than you think it is. Sometimes when you found your mind that you didn't realize you found your mind would be when you have that dream and you wake up with the inspirational idea. Suddenly those lyrics to a new song come to your head. That new idea for your business comes bubbling out. That not stepping out into the road before a truck drives by just after. That's your mind. The problem is your brain wants to silence your mind, so you really need to allow your mind to come out. During times like COVID, where we have extra time, it's a great time to become a lot more mind-body aware. I'm sure you've heard this from your local yogis who pretend to do yoga and really just go there for a fashion statement and a few other things, but the reality is if you can get connected with that mind-body is actually very powerful. If you don't believe in it, take a look on YouTube or anything. You'll find a monk that can melt snow. You'll find guys that can stay underwater forever. You'll find women that can stand on one leg and bend backwards. You'll find plenty of people that have become more mind-body aware than you and are able to accomplish a lot of things. So I know a lot of you are probably saying, wow, we're 5 minutes into a podcast and we haven't got to a thing about real estate and how this applies to us. So let's dive into how does this apply to real estate. One of the first places it comes into play in real estate is the idea of gaining new clients. All the time we let our mind go away and we let our brain take over. We start to think of ourselves as such an important person that we're not willing to call people because we think they're going to remember we called them before and they're going to be annoyed by us. Whereas in our mind, we know the more phone calls we make, the more money we make. So we're sitting there listening to our brain, which is nervous, which is the side of us that has the ego, which is the side of us that feels ashamed, that feels nervous, that feels jealous. All these emotions that have absolutely no place here in this actual universe. They are all emotions in weight, just like fear, that hold you down. Whereas if you had allowed your mind to do what you needed to do, which was, in order to make more money, I need to make more calls. So what I'm telling you today is to take more time for yourself and to take less time for your brain. Allow your mind to wander. When you're driving, stop listening to things that have you highly entertained, like sports stories and all these things that take your brain and continue to work it. Allow those musics that maybe foster just creative thought, the classical musics, all these things. There is a reason that science has proven that people think better when they're listening to them. When you're listening to what someone else is saying, you're now listening versus when you're listening to that type of song, it's allowing your mind to wander and be creative. So I want you to allow more time for your creativity and to realize that that's going to allow you to actually flourish in this entire business. Real estate is really about relationships. So another time that this really comes into play where you allow your brain is in the development of relationships, and that self-importance that I had mentioned before. Yes, that plays a huge part in creating relationships and knowing that you need to create value and everything, but allowing yourself to put yourself out there. So a lot of times you see people say you have this circle of comfort and then you have your uncomfortable zone. That circle of comfort versus uncomfortable zone does not have anything to do with your mind. It all has to do with your brain. It's allowing your brain to worry about the what ifs. The what ifs and things are something that can kill you. You always want to save yourself from everything. Where do we get this? How do we get here? The truth is, you grew up with parents. Parents have the best of interests. They don't want you to get hurt. They don't want you to experience pain, whether it be through love, through actual physical pain, or through financial pain. They really try to prevent you from having any of it. And all of us, we have that mom or father that always reminded us, no matter when we went to do something, to use caution because there's a worst case scenario that can happen. During this whole entire process, no one ever tells you, what if you succeeded? They always tell you, what if you failed? So growing up with this negative bias, this is something where that brain is going to tell you, geez, you should be really careful, which can create paralysis through analysis, which I've gone over in other podcasts. Paralysis through analysis is when you're thinking so hard about something that you never make a move. And allowing your brain to do that to you versus your mind, that one that's that creative, that new drive, that new business idea, that new business strategy, so often it comes up from that mind and the brain says, shut up, you could lose. Shut up, you shouldn't do that because I know somebody who did and it didn't go well for them. Do not measure your success results on somebody else's previous experience. While I believe R&D stands for rip off and duplicate, it doesn't mean that just because somebody else failed at something you want to do, that you're going to fail. You need to look at, did they put full effort forth? Did they put full faith forth? Did they have a proper budget to do what they were doing? Did they have a strategy? Did they actually go there and perform? You cannot look at these things and allow your brain to say, well, everyone else is doing this, so I'm going to do it. As my parents used to say on one end, no one's going to judge you for walking out the door. You got to look a certain way. No one's going to judge you for who you are. You got to be you. And then you wear an outfit and they're like, you're really going to wear that? And it's not that they mean to offend you. It's that they believe that people judge us. They believe all these things, which is the truth of the world. You need to allow your brain to stop that actual bad behavior, that judgment, the judging others, and stop. Don't judge yourself. Don't judge anybody. Just take what your mind is telling you to do and follow that path. There's already a path in your life that's written for you. It's just a matter of whether you want to follow it. A lot of people think they need to be in one business or another business based on how much money someone makes in one business or how happy they are in another business. But the truth is, you need to do what you were born for. You need to do what it is that your mind is making you chase every single day. You know inside of you what it is, but a lot of people don't respect it. They don't pull it out, and they don't allow it to come into the business. In real estate, often we're trying to create relationships with people we don't know. Reality is, there's something like 7.8 billion people in the world. So if you adjust yourself instead of trying to be false and create these relationships, chances are there's hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people just like you who would be happy to work with you for who you are. So the more you allow that mind to take over versus that brain, the more you're going to be yourself. Everybody wants to be an expert on their real estate channels at real estate. But what I'm telling you is you don't always have to be that expert at real estate. You can be the expert at any given subject, draw the crowd in, and then let them know you're a real estate agent versus trying to do what everyone else is doing. Again, allowing that brain to chase after what makes sense to other people. All the time in life when we're dealing with business, people want to make decisions based on what other people have already showed them what was safe. Stop thinking so safe in your brain, don't worry about it, and stop processing the way that you know is the path for you. I promise you, if you start, just every day take anywhere from 1 minute to start, 5 minutes the next week, 10 minutes the week after, start getting into a little bit of meditation. Now, am I telling you you need to go seek out Buddha and sit on the top of the Tibetan mountains? No. What I'm telling you is you got to take some time to shut that thing off up top that's called the brain and allow that mind to come out, because you might be surprised what you have inside yourself. You might be surprised how good you are. I'm here to tell you today that you're better at everything than you think you are. You're a much better person than you think you are. And if you could only allow the real you out there, you're going to find enormous success. I hope this helps you in your real estate career. I hope this opens your eyes to a new ability or a new focus that you might want to take. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or you want to talk about this subject further, feel free to reach out to me. I love to talk to everybody. You can PM me, DM me, text me, call me, whatever works. Thanks for listening this week, and I hope you tune in next week. Make sure to tell your friends and family to subscribe to this podcast, and if you haven't already done so, make sure you do the same. Check out our Facebook group, and make sure to subscribe to the newsletter so you don't miss any of the new episodes of our blog or podcast. Thank you so much, and have a great day.